Good afternoon. I hope you've had a good day of class so far. I mean, not really. I don't know you, but, well, assuming you're not awful, I hope you had a good day. It's funny, you expect when you perform well that life is kinder to you, but, well, truthfully, you perform well in your studies and suddenly you're being asked to tutor, so. All right, I'm told you've been struggling recently, is that correct? You've been having some kind of difficulties relating to your recent assignments. What class are you in? Okay. Basic fundamentals. Okay. All right. So, the objective of your current homework assignment is to successfully cast the most basic spell of your elemental affinity. Okay? I can probably work with you on that, but before we really get started on that, what is your elemental affinity? What do you mean you don't know? I'm being very serious. What do you mean when you say you don't know? You should know that. Okay, have you been paying attention in class at all? All right. No, that's... Okay. I need you to listen to me right now. Okay? And I need you to keep listening to me. I'm going to explain some things to you, and you are going to absorb it, and you are going to perform well in your next assessment, okay? Because I really need this extra credit, all right? I'm trying to graduate top of my class, so what I need from you is to show dramatic improvement after this session, okay? Because that reflects well on me. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so we are teaching magic from first principles, all right? So, to start with, elemental affinities. Functionally, it's like a sort of triangle, okay? So, we have three, not triangle, like a star. We have three axes on which magic exists of three sets of opposed elements, all right? You have air. That's my elemental affinity. You have earth, which is opposed to it. Then, adjacent to air, it's a similar element but not identical. We have fire on one side. And darkness on the other. And then on the third axis, well, okay, not on the third axis. Air and earth are the first axis, fire and ice are the second, darkness and light are the third. Elements that are adjacent to each other have similar properties and can be channeled in similar ways. So dark and light are opposed, as are fire and ice. It's pretty straightforward stuff. Air magic is used to manipulate air, earth to manipulate earth, fire for fire, ice with, ice and cold. Light magic is used to produce light and also heal. Darkness can obscure senses and cause grievous harm. There's some overlap and interplay between them, but that's the core of it, right? Technically, earth magic has some weird interplay with the body because the body is predominantly composed of physical matter and earth is the most fundamentally attuned to the physical world. So typically, body augmentations and enhancements are the domain of earth and occasionally light. Because again, that connection to healing, but that's more advanced than you need right now. What matters is that if you are earth attuned, I can't help you. As someone who specializes in air magic, as someone whose magical core is fundamentally attuned to the axis of air, I cannot physically channel earth magic. I cannot do it. And so I cannot help you if you are specialized in that way. But you don't know what your attunement is. So that is the first step, right? Okay. Oh, why do we have to be doing this? Why are we starting from scratch? Okay. That's fine. That's fine. We are going to perform a very simple form of divination, okay? I'm going to grind up some powder. I'm going to light it on fire. You are going to focus on it. When you focus on it, it'll flash a color. That color will tell me your attunement, okay? Cool. What do the other attunements do? Well, if you had perhaps paid more attention in your actual class, you wouldn't need me to tell you this stuff. Air magic, what I specialize in, is the manipulation of air. It's very straightforward. The most basic use of the magic is the act of condensing air into a blade and then projecting it outwards. It's very fundamental offensive air magic. It can also be used for things like spending time underwater. You can create a bubble of air around yourself. You can use it to glide or jump higher than you normally could. It doesn't technically allow for physical enhancement like earth magic does, because again, we're very opposed, but by using the air to support your movements, you can emulate the effect. That's pretty high level stuff. If you do end up being air attuned, we're just going to get you to figure out how to make an air blade, and then that'll be good enough. Dark magic, like I said, it's illusions, obscuring the senses, and causing harm. Like how light heals and can reveal things, or sometimes overstimulate the senses. Those who are capable of dark magic can hamper them. You can render someone blind or numb or deaf, and you can sap life energy from those you touch. It sounds more impressive than it is. All magic, even light, is capable of harm. And the fact is, a dark magic user has to touch you in order to actually do their most intense magical attack. And while that attack is pretty rough, it can be tough for a dark magic user to actually close that gap. Ice is ice. It's ice. That you can make things cold. You can create shards of ice and throw them at people or freeze things. Fire's fire. You can burn stuff. It's adjacent to light, so you can also do simple stuff like that. I can perform simple fire magic pretty effectively. Not as much as someone who has a natural attunement, but, well enough. And light magic, again, can heal. It can produce light. Through healing, it can enhance or alter the body in certain ways, though less so than earth. That's about it. This is, again, high-level stuff that you don't need to worry about, but air magic does also have a connection to the soul and the intangible, as earth is very grounded and can have a connection to the body. Air is the least material other than light and darkness. And so, you can do things involving extrasensory perception or interfacing and interacting with spiritual energies more effectively than someone specializing in earth magic could. Okay. Let me light this up. Okay. Double checking. Bad luck to you. All right. Your core is dark magic attuned, so we're going to focus on that. Okay? I'm going to hopefully get you casting a simple spell by the end of today that should allow you to, an octopus and how they can, or is it squids? I think it's squids that can release ink to hide themselves. That's the most basic application of dark magic. Instead of targeting a sense, you just kind of spray weird black ink stuff everywhere. Anyone inside it, you included, can't see for shit, so it's useful. Give me just a moment. I'm writing some stuff down. I do have to actually report this stuff to the faculty, like what you needed help with and where I think things went wrong, what we discussed, all that. So they're gonna know that you were slacking off, but it's whatever. As long as you actually perform well on your next assessment and don't do this again, you should be fine. Now, I'm making a written record of this, but There's also magical methods of recording this information that are active as well, just to make sure I don't lie in my little notebook here. Now, I am going to grab this old book. Okay. This is a useful textbook on basic dark magic theory. It's pretty foundational, so if you don't have a copy, you should get one. As someone who is air attuned, my attunement is adjacent to dark, so I do have some capacity for performing dark magic, and I have learned how to cast the most basic spells because, you know, as much as dark magic is generally not great, well, the fact is, you know, even if destructive magic that you need to make contact in order for it to work isn't the best, being able to blind someone momentarily is pretty convenient in a fight, I guess. You know, there are some advantages, but dark magic is definitely best used in conjunction with other forms of magic. In my opinion, the best dark mages are the ones who have attunements that aren't dark. But maybe you'll prove me wrong. Alright, so from a super fundamental level, the way one performs the magic is by channeling the ambient magical energy that is in the air around us at all times through your body and through your essence. This is referred to by different names depending on culture, schooling, location, any number of things, but if you hear a mage refer to their core, their focus, their gait, anything like that, it's all the same thing. When you are channeling magic through your gait, when you're channeling magic through your core, it's all the same. The point is that in a semi-physical space within your body, you have a sort of, I refer to it as a core because that's how I like to visualize it, but a condensed mass of your own innate magical energy that, while it cannot be expressed outside of your body on its own, can take in ambient magical energy, reshape it, and then project it outwards. And that's where your own personal alignment comes in. We're all using the same ambient energy, but someone whose core is naturally attuned to earth magic and is naturally inclined towards using it in that way is going to, of course, find it nearly impossible to perform magic attuned to air. They're just too different. So, what we're going to do, okay, is we're going to perform a very simple focusing ritual. And once we have done that, you are going to close your eyes. You are going to reach within yourself. And then once you have, you should be able to hopefully draw upon the magical energy around you, channel it into your core, and then project that magic outwards. It doesn't need to have a shape right now, okay? You don't need to have much intention. Your core should have a sort of natural tendency towards a certain behavior. In the case of dark mages, that is typically a cloud of weird semi-physical ink. In my case, it's, a strong gust of wind, which with practice can be honed into a blade. With fire, it's just raw fire in your hands. With ice, it's usually a cloud of snow. With light, it's a gentle glow on the fingertip. With earth, it's floating rocks. Sorry, I shouldn't be judgmental of earth mages. I just think air is way cooler, and I'm not biased in the slightest. Anyways, we're going to do a little focusing ritual, okay? And the way we're going to do that is with the incredible power of incense. Yes, yes, yes. Now, the incense itself isn't magical, but there are certain scents that can help facilitate the kind of focus that you need and help you assume the appropriate mental state. Whenever I'm trying to learn a new spell that is outside of my aptitude, I'm always doing it with some incense burning. A lot of incense burning, actually. We're doing cones today. These are going to be some slightly clashing scents, but they should help facilitate the sort of focus you need. So we're going to be going with some lavender and some rose and a pine scent, all right? And hopefully that will do the trick, okay? And by hopefully, I mean definitely. If you have any magical aptitude at all, this should work. And if you got into this school, you'd better have some kind of aptitude, okay? So now that you know what your core is, and you know what it's good for, and I've given you a good recommendation for important literature, I'm going to expect that you do better, okay? All right, close your eyes. I'm going to light up this incense. I want you to focus, okay? Just focus for me. I need you to reach out with every one of your senses, except sight. I want you to feel the world around you, to become hyper aware of your body's position in space. I want you to be hyper aware of every physical sensation you are currently experiencing. The texture of your clothes, the feel of your hair, everything. I want you to focus on what you hear. Every little sound. Not just my voice, but the sound of your own breathing, the sound of this lighter. The sound of little rustles of motion as you shift where you are. Hear all of it. And we continue. Focus on what you smell. Rose and lavender and pine. Those smells are the strongest, but they're not the only ones, are there? Are they? You can pick apart the smells around you, find more subtle scents. Focus on it. All right? Become completely aware of your surroundings with every sense except sight. What do you smell? What do you hear? What do you taste? What do you feel? But there's one last sense that you haven't reached out with yet. You can feel it, can't you? In the room around us. Magical energy. A lot of it. I've nurtured an environment in this room that has caused that magical energy to accumulate, to become dense, thick in the air. And you can feel it as it moves around you, can't you? If I were to conjure just the slightest bit of wind, you could feel the magic move through the room, flowing around you as I draw it into myself. Now that you're aware of it, that you can feel it and sense it, reach out, draw it into yourself. Allow it to take shape and release. Well, would you look at that? More of a dribble than a cloud of ink, but there are little wisps of shadow in the air. And that was entirely your doing. I know you can do better than that. Keep working on it, okay? I've done all the teaching I really can for now. You just have to figure it out. So, stay focused, stay here, and keep trying, okay? Gotta say, for someone who clearly wasn't paying attention to before, you're not an awful student when you actually do give a damn. So just focus up, all right? If you want to do crazy, awesome magic stuff, you have to get through the boring early stages first, Okay? Good. All right, I'm gonna step out for a bit, get myself some water, and you just keep focusing, okay? I'll check on you in like 10 minutes. Cool. Peace.